Okay.
There's a king that's coming back to save our people. Now, we should be preparing ourselves for the return of our king, not stuck up in these denominations and religions that's destroying our people and destroying our nation.
So when we are in this kingdom and our brother and sister doing wickedly in this kingdom, we must tell them, look, the world is expecting you to stay docile, to stay stupid.
That's what Christianity teaches our people. Teaches our people to hate one another and love the oppressor. Now, we'll never forgive one another for anything that another brother or sister do to us, but we'll forgive the oppressor in a heartbeat. There's something wrong with that, man.
Imagine living your life as a whole Christian your whole life, and life's good because you're a Christian and Jesus is white and everything's going great, and there's a landslide and the earth opens up, and you go downstairs and you walk through this place and you see a black Jesus, man. Why is Jesus Christ black with an afro in the catacombs, man? This predates the Renaissance period.
So when you look at Genesis, the trees in the garden of other nations, a leaf, what is a leaf from a tree? Cover tree. So add to the covering of another nation. What's the covering of another nation? The culture. So when the Most High Son say, I don't know, where are you, man? Why you don't let us find you? You know, like, you see him like, you like, where are you, man? I don't know you.
Okay. So the ba al-banya yasha'ala wa amarath al-ham al-ayya yahaw. The ba means speak. Al, when it's joined with something, so al-banya means what? Unto, right? Excellent. So al when it's joined with something means unto. Banya means children. Yasha'ala is Israel. So unto the children of Israel.
Like, if it's one thing on hold, gonna do a hold on hold. But she can't hold if there's nobody to hold with. And the thing she said at the end, when she said, I went back and I lied to him and he still wouldn't do it. And then she threw up her hands and she said, well, he'd just be a brother. That's what we fucking need.
That's right.
If we have more brothers, holes like her wouldn't have no outlet.
So the man in the land of Oz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright.
There you go, the man called Job. Job is what afflicted. And that man was perfect and upright. Meaning what? You can be perfect, man. Job was the man like everybody else, man. Job was no angel. Job didn't come from the heavens. And that man was perfect. Meaning what? You can be perfect in the Bible. Being perfect is in the Bible.
Didn't have friends on my hotel. We all poor Jimmy. Funny how the general ain't even see a penny. Better to show respect, get smoked like a chimney. Keep my name out your mouth, don't even think it. Send a real flip that y'all don't feel thinking. Whole ball head, I bring a buck 50. Off my man to the game, that pain that's up with me. Had to find a cheat codes in the street though, cause the niggas getting foul shooting like a free throw. Keep spitting acid like a Mino, and the nigga be the nicest with a mean flow.
Hey, shalom Israel, shalom, 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 Most High Christ. Alright, let's get it. This is Real-Time Revelations, you know what I'm saying, the show hosted by myself, Priest and Officer of 1,000, you know what I'm saying, Raawban, the I.S.U.P.K, United Kingdom, you know what I'm saying, let's give ourselves a hand. we back on the old, you know what I'm saying, the original system for the TikTok. I just thought, you know, for today's show, I have a lot of videos I want to share. So I thought it'd be worth, you know what I'm saying, doing it in the TikTok studio format so I can more easily share videos and we can get this thing working. Alright, as always, make sure you like the show, like the video, you know what I'm saying, repost it, share it, you know what I'm saying. If you haven't followed the page already, make sure you follow the page for more content, you know what I'm saying, including the live itself, reels, shorts, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. We post on TikTok. Be sure to follow the page. And you know, follow all our I.S.U.P.K social medias. All right. So, you know what I'm saying, welcome to today's show. Today's show, as much as I kind of try not to talk about America, I try not to talk about the U.S. You probably wouldn't think I do so, but I do to try and stay, you know, within the U.K. You know what I'm saying, a couple of things what's going on in the U.K. But all over social media, all over the news, all over everybody's feed, we can see, you know what I'm saying, what is going over in America right now with these ICE agents just, you know, wreaking havoc on the streets of the likes of Minneapolis, really the streets everywhere, just wreaking havoc all over the U.S., you know what I'm saying. It's about to cause a civil war, It's about to cause, riots in the streets, and that's what the oppressor wants. Like, that's what the devil wants. He wants more reason to be able to unalive you in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Now, he never really needed a reason to unalive, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. He never needed a reason. But when it comes to even their own people, but, people that disagree with Trump's tyrannical regime, those people that disagree, they'll have reasons to unalive you too. There was recently like 2 stories where, there was some oppressor woman, some European woman, I assume she was American, who was, shot and unalived, died from unalived from bloodlust, due to these ICE agents. And just recently another oppressor, another European, another American came, the news broke out that he was also, unalived and, passed away from bloodlust due to these ICE agents. So we are now hearing these stories of, ICE wrongfully unaliving people, and people are in an outrage. But what isn't really spoke about is, this is not the first time nor the second time somebody's been unalived by ICE agents. There's been plenty of, Latino brothers and sisters, plenty, even a couple, I think there was some black people that were unalived and or wrongfully detained and treated inhumanely by these savages, by these ICE agents. But you don't hear about those stories. You only hear about it, or I should say, the world only cares about it when Europeans die, when Caucasians are unalived. That's when the world hears about it. That's when the world cares. But when it's just blacks and Latinos being harassed, being detained, we already know we're detained by the police. Now we have to look, over our shoulder, for these ICE agents who have been given damn near even more power than the police. Like, as a police officer, you have to, show your face, wear a badge, so you can be identified. You have to be in uniform if you're going to be doing your work. You can't be off duty and still act as an officer. You have to be in uniform. You have to, be able to be identified. You have to follow certain laws and procedures, even though they don't follow it anyway. But at least you're held to some standard. You're held to some manner of standard. But when it comes to these ICE agents, all rules, all bets are off, and they have free reign to do whatever the hell they want. And they have damn near unlimited funding. Like, you get, I seen an ad for ICE where you get a $50,000 bonus just for joining. And then there's another bonus that you get, or that you seem to get. We're about to show you a video on that later. Another bonus that you get for doing a certain activity while you're operating as an ICE officer. But these ICE officers are, unidentified, driving around in unmarked vans and cars, just picking people up and throwing them in the back of trucks. You can't identify any of them because they're all wearing masks like the cowards that they are. And they're just lawless. They're absolutely lawless. They're running around unaliving and targeting so many people that even Caucasian people are being targeted. Even Caucasian people have been unalived, by these people. Right? So, I wanted to share a couple videos, and I've titled this this TikTok show. I've titled it as The Modern Day Holocaust. Right? The Modern Day Holocaust. Hold on. Let me see. I'm literally just looking at a video now posted by Captain Tazariak, who is basically pointing out, the I.S.U.P.K, of course. He's pointing out the same thing that I'm pointing out. And I might see if I can show you on the live, just because I don't have this video ready. But basically, I don't know if you can see the caption. Let me see. How do I do this? It says Trump/ICE equals, I don't know if I can say this name on Hitler, on, on TikTok. I said it. Equals Hitler/SS. Showing the comparison of what ICE and what Donald Trump is doing right now to Germany in a certain time period. Showing the parallel and comparison. And that's what I want to bring out today. Now, how did Adolf, I'll call him that, how did Adolf do, what he did in Germany? How did he, manage to, come up, just do everything that he did in Germany, gain that popularity, rise, to power in that way? How did, Adolf do what they did in Germany? And there's certain steps that they took which are very key to note about what's going on right now. It's very key to note and understand that this is the same steps that Trump is taking to do what Adolf and his party did to the Jewish people. He's using those same steps, that same blueprint, the step-by-step guide to oppress and detain and disappear. We're going to get into that. Disappear, Latinos, Hispanics, and even some black people have been affected by this, some Judites. I think even somebody told me the other day, my rib told me just before, not the other day, that the Native Americans are preparing for ICE. They're preparing, for if ICE decides to descend on them. Because according to ICE, essentially anybody who's non-Caucasian, anybody who's not Caucasian is illegal. You know what I'm saying? So, let me see what I want to share first. Let me grab this. I'm going to do a quick let me just share this one. Alright, let me share this. So, we're going to read how Adolf and his party. I should take this off. The show is not starting soon. It has started. Alright. So let's see how the steps that Adolf and his party took in Germany. Alright, so we read this. This is on the BBC website. On Bite Size. This is to do with learning and history. Right? So we're reading some history. Okay? Actions taken by Hitler's group, Adolf's party, I should say. I keep saying that other word. I don't know if TikTok is going to take me down. Alright, but let me make this a little wider. Alright, so I'm going to just say Adolf's group. That's what I'm going to say. Okay, that's what I'm substituting with. Actions taken by Adolf's group. It could be argued that the action taken by by Adolf's group after the Beer Hall Poots brought them to power. However, their rise to power can also be attributed to the circumstances in Germany at the time. Right? So the first thing they did was appeal to all Germans. Right? The Adolf's group increased their popularity by appearing to provide the solution to all of Germany's problems. And that is the same thing that Trump and his party is, claiming to be doing. He's going to be the solution to make America great again. He's going to be the solution to all those Caucasians that can't find job. The problem is those dang migrants. The problem is those Latinos who work harder than damn near, so many other immigrants that come to, whether it be America, Britain, wherever. So many other immigrants, East Indians and Romanians and whatever. Latinos, go to America. But meanwhile, to give you another history lesson, America belongs to not only the Native Indians, the so-called Native Americans, but it belongs to Hispanics. Like, it belongs to the Mexicans. It belongs to these people. They were there originally. But some old devil comes over to America, as he's called it today, on a boat, You know what I'm saying? The same thing that Trump said doesn't mean Denmark or Greenland belongs to Greenland. Doesn't mean Greenland belongs to Denmark. You know what I'm saying? He pointed out that, you know, just because you landed there on a boat 500 years ago doesn't mean the land belongs to you. Well, Donald Trump. Just because Christopher Columbus arrived here on a boat however many years ago doesn't mean that America belongs to you. But you are oppressing the people who are really native to this land. And you are calling them illegal immigrants when you, Caucasians, Europeans, you are the illegal immigrants. All you need to do is read a history book. I'm not saying anything divisive. I'm not saying anything people don't know. You are the illegal immigrant. If ICE wants to is about immigration, they should start with Caucasian people. They should start with them and go ahead and go around in America, in wherever, you know, Europeans have colonized. They should go around all over the world and kick those people out of that land and bring them back to where they came from. Bring them back to the Caucasus Mountains in Russia. Bring them back to the caves and the clefts of the rock. That's what ICE should do if they really care about immigration. But it seems that what they care about is oppressing Latinos, is oppressing Hispanics. And they're doing that by claiming and, you know, telling the American public, the U.S. public, that doing this, that detaining and deporting all these Latinos is going to fix all of America's problems. It's just going to fix everything. The economy is just gonna boom. You know what I'm saying? Despite the fact that you no longer have the Latino workforce that you exploit for cheap labor. That really, you know what I'm saying, is the reason, you know, that's American capitalism right there. Without those Hispanics to work your fields or to work whatever that you exploit for cheap labor, then who is going to work your workforce? It would have to be Americans, right? It would have to be U.S. citizens, which you can't exploit quite in the same way because American citizens have rights. And you can't pay them lower than the minimum wage. So what's really going to happen to your so-called economy when you get rid of all the Hispanics that America is rich off of? When you try to get rid of all the black people that America is rich off of, what's really going to happen? We'll see. Let's read on. It says they adopt policies that could be supported by many groups of Germans. So it says right here, socialists, they promised that farmers would be given their land, and pensions would improve, and public industries such as electricity and water would be owned by the state. They promised that all German-speaking people would be united in one country, and the Treaty of Versailles would be abandoned, and there would be special laws for foreigners. And that's what's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? They're clamping down on immigration. You know, and claiming it's going to be better for the economy. You know what I'm saying? Claiming it's going to be, Caucasians will now be able to get jobs. You know, Caucasians will, whatever it is that they're claiming is going to benefit America as they claim to make America great again. Meanwhile, Americans are being unalived in the streets right now. So it's a certain type of American that they're speaking to, a certain type of American that they're that they're concerned with, and a special law for foreigners. So you could have a passport, you could be Hispanic, you know what I'm saying, you could be from wherever, and you could have a passport, you could have all your documentation, you could be, you know, born and raised in the U.S., born and raised in U.S. soil, making you a U.S. citizen. But there's a special law for foreigners. If you don't, you know, quite fit the, if you don't quite pass the brown paper bag test, you're going to get, you know, picked up, scooped up, and harassed by ICE agents. Let's see right here. Racists. They promised that the Jewish man would not be German citizens and immigration would be stopped. And you just swap this with Latinos. They're basically saying that any Latino is no longer a U.S. citizen, and they're stopping immigration. They're clamping down. Let me see, what else? They promised an increase in employment and wages. And isn't that the same thing that Adolf Trump is doing right now? So, I want to share a video. And this just goes right along and parallels with another thing that Adolf's party did in Germany. There was all this propaganda to criminalize and make the Jewish man. Here we go, right here. That's all I have to do is scroll down. Use of propaganda. It says Adolf put Joseph Goebbels in charge of Adolf Party propaganda. Methods of campaigning that Adolf's party used in the 1920s includes radio, mass rallies, newspapers, Adolf speeches, and posters. And right now, you know what I'm saying, he's using simple slogans to introduce their ideas and make them appeal to the ordinary people of Germany. And the ideas is that, you know, those Jewish people are whatever, criminals, they're less of a people, they're this, they're that, they're coming over here to take over our country and take all our jobs and do whatever it was that Adolf was claiming that these Jewish people were doing. Now let's fast forward to today, and let's see what Trump and his party have to say about the Hispanics and the same tactic that, you know, was used previously in Germany. Let's see. Let's watch this video. So this is the Trump administration today, and they're claiming they're going after the worst of the worst. So let's play this video.
We will continue to go after the worst of the worst across the country like President Trump has told us to do.
A 5-year-old child, Liam Ramos, was taken with his father while in the driveway after just arriving home from his preschool classroom.
The worst criminal.
So they're saying, you know, and they're using this the tactic of propaganda to criminalize Hispanics. They're saying we're going after the worst of the worst, the criminals, the dangerous criminals that are, putting good old U.S. citizens in danger. These dangerous criminals, the worst of the worst. And let's see who are ICE agents and who is Trump actually targeting. This 5-year-old child, Liam Ramos, you know what I'm saying, one of our Latino brothers.
A 5-year-old child, Liam Ramos, was taken with his father while in the driveway after just arriving home from his
This young boy just arrived from preschool with his dad. Just coming home from school with his father. A good, present father, bringing his child home from school and gets scooped up by these devils who would claim that along with, he's basically the same as a drug trafficker. He's basically the same as a human trafficker. You know what I'm saying? All the worst of the worst. He's basically equal to a dangerous criminal. This 5-year-old boy and his father gets picked up by ICE agents. Like this is who in reality they're targeting. To be honest with you, I don't even think they're going for the actual, you might have Latinos that commit crimes, as you have with every race that commit crimes. And you should go for, if you want to go for somebody who's the worst of the worst, try somebody that is listed in the Epstein files, that is, delaying them coming out because it's very incriminating, that had a charge for I don't know if you can even say grape, that had a charge for grape and said that the woman said that she liked it, didn't she? She liked being graped. Try a man that has 34 felonies. He's convicted for 34 felonies. Try a man that has broken international law. Try him. He sounds like the worst of the worst to me. That's what that sounds like. He sounds like this man could quite frankly be the worst of the worst. Like, he's only in a few more years, he's gonna be written about in the history books. He sounds like one of the worst of the worst. I mean, you read about people in the past that they call the worst of the worst, And look at what Trump is doing. But instead of going after Trump, instead of going after dangerous criminals, you go for a 5-year-old and his father coming home from preschool.
Preschool classroom.
The worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. A 10-year
illegal aliens threatening the American people. And if we just get rid of those illegal aliens, then America will be great. America will be safe and sound. Meanwhile, ICE agents are terrorizing American citizens, threatening American citizens. Matter of fact, ICE agents are the worst of the worst. Like, they're actually the worst of the worst. Imagine the type of person you have to be to separate a 5-year-old child, to separate a 10-year-old child from their parent, and put them in these we're going to get into these child concentration camps later. We're going to get into those in just a moment. Imagine the type of person you have to be to separate children from their parents. Just go around harassing, beating up, shooting, unaliving people. For what? Disagreeing with you? Even if they try and show you their papers or try and explain to you that they're a U.S. citizen, you beat them up anyway. And what gives you the right, even if somebody is, so-called illegal according to your laws, when really, as we know from history, you are the illegal immigrant. Even if we say we give you that, okay, you're going after illegal immigrants. What gives you the right to just pull up in an unmarked van and basically kidnap people, separate children from their parents, beat up people and treat them in the most inhumane way you could think? Whether they're legal or illegal, you still have human rights. Like, do you not still have, are you not still a human? Do you not need to be treated with some form of dignity and humanity still? But they have never treated blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans with any form of human dignity. Listen, Donald Trump is the threat to America. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what the threat to America is. What the threat to anywhere is. The threat to the whole world is these people. I mean, Britain went around and colonized damn near the whole earth. That sounds like a threat to me. These people sound like the worst of the worst. But they go around and, instead of putting themselves in prison, that's where they should be. That's where Donald Trump should be right now. A 34-time convicted felon. He should be under the jail. Meanwhile, they go after 5-year-old boys and this 10-year-old girl. So let's read about what happened to this girl.
Classroom.
The worst criminal illegal aliens threatening the American people. A 10-year-old U.S. citizen girl with brain cancer and her 4 U.S. citizen siblings, all deported when they were on their way to an emergency medical appointment.
Good night. So a 10-year-old girl, a U.S. citizen, mind you, a U.S. citizen, she's here, she's in America. I should say here, I'm in the U.K. She's in America legally. She's legally in America, and she's suffering from, brain cancer? She's suffering from brain cancer and was being rushed for an emergency medical treatment. Till ICE came along and scooped up and deported this young girl along with 4 of her siblings. These people sound like the worst of the worst to me.
Were on their way to an emergency medical appointment.
The worst of the worst criminals in this country.
The Trump administration deported 3 U.S. citizen children to Honduras, including a 4-year-old boy. who is actively receiving treatment for a rare form of stage 4 cancer.
We will continue.
Another young boy with cancer. It says they deported 3 U.S. citizens. These are not illegals. They're not. What crime have they committed? They're young children. Not only that, but young, sick children that are receiving treatment by your healthcare system, which is highway robbery, mind you. That's criminal. I'll tell you what's criminal: the U.S. healthcare system. That is absolutely criminal. But you deport 3 U.S. citizens to Honduras. Children, including a 4-year-old boy.
4-year-old boy.
4-year-old boy. Barely. What are you even classed as a 4-year-old? That's like a toddler, right? Like you were a 4-year-old toddler who was actively receiving treatment for a rare form of stage 4.
Actively receiving treatment for a rare form of stage 4.
A rare form of stage 4 cancer. And you scoop those up. You scoop these children up. This is who you go for. This is who while you're saying you're going after the worst of the worst, this is who you're actually going for. Matter of fact, before I continue, let me put this up real quick. Viewer discretion is advised, because what I'm going to show today, it might be distressing for some people. It might, upset you. Because what I'm showing today is absolutely disgusting. I'm showing the actions of inhumane criminals, monsters, the devil the Bible speaks of. So this is the propaganda that they're pushing. They're going after the worst of the worst, and really they're going not only after children that have done no crimes, after day laborers that have done no crimes. They're going after sick children. They're going after U.S. citizens. So it's not even about being illegal and being this and being that. It's about being Latino. If you're Latino, you're going to get harassed by ICE. And listen, for any of my Latino brothers and sisters that might be out there, contact the I.S.U.P.K and the Commanding General Yahanna. Contact us. Nobody else on this earth seems to give a damn about Latinos, about Mexicans, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Hondurans, El Salvadorians. Nobody gives a damn about those people, except the I.S.U.P.K and the Commanding General Yahanna. The same way they oppress you, they oppress us. In the same way we stood together historically. We stood together and fought the oppression. We stood together and fought against it. We will stand together once again, man. Contact the nearest I.S.U.P.K to you. So now, we just seen that Trump and his party of Neo Adolf Party group are going after children. And let's see, I guess before they deport them to Honduras, before they deport them to whatever country they deport them to, let's see where they go first. So they get separated from their parents and put in these ICE children's detention camp, otherwise known as a concentration camp for Latinos. Like this is a concentration camp. They separate you, you're vulnerable, and they just do whatever. We can't see, we can't go in there, you can't even, this cameraman who was just filming the outside, he can't even film the outside. No one knows what's happening to these children in these detention centers. Let's play on.
I'm outside. I'm outside. It doesn't say out here. And I've just been ordered to leave the premises. And she's yelling at me right now, so I'm going to head back to my car and try and keep you abreast of the situation.
So these children, that these devils, that these monsters, that the worst of the worst separate from their parents, end up in these detention centers, end up in these concentration camps, and you can see from the outside the screaming and crying that can be heard inside.
I'm outside. I'm outside.
But you're not allowed to record it. God forbid there be any evidence of what's going on. Coming from Kyle, she says, I think they keep them in, what did I just do? Hold on. I think they keep them in cages. They keep the kids in cages. Exactly. That was another thing that, you know, they've been doing this for a while. They've been doing this for a long while. But even now they're giving more power. They're putting these kids, these children, they've done nothing. They're putting them in cages, like animals. Like what type of person do you treat like this? You're treating these children as if worse than hardened criminals in America get treated. Like you treat them worse than you would treat an American serial unaliver. You treat them worse than you would treat a mass unaliver that just got done, you know what I'm saying, shooting up a school, shooting up a church. You treating these Hispanic, Latino children worse than that. You're treating them worse than you would treat animals. You know those Caucasians, they love their pets. Imagine this was dogs being held in cages and you heard their cries. You'd have Caucasians all over the internet in tears, tore up by what's happening to those poor dogs. But when it's Latino babies, when it's Hispanic children, you know, nobody barely even bats an eyelid. We in the I.S.U.P.K, we cry for you. We understand the pain that you're going through because it's our pain. We are one body. We are one and the same. Let's go to our next video. So this is what they're doing to those children that they're scooping up and, you know, just putting in these concentration camps. Let me see. I guess this one is more U.S. citizens being harassed by ICE. Again, claiming, you know, it's the criminals, the illegals, the threatening U.S. citizens. No, it is you that is the biggest threat to U.S. citizens. From the police force, which has been a problem, to ICE agents, which again have been a problem, but good night, the problem they are today is something you've never seen. Or you probably have seen it in the history books of the worst people. So let's play this.
He's a citizen! He's a citizen! Why are you running? Because you sound like
Now this is a young black boy, I think this was in Chicago. A young black boy who again was in school, you know what I'm saying, is being attacked by these devils.
He's a citizen!
Again, masked up, you can't identify them, all they have on is the uniform, if that.
He's a citizen! That's my brother-in-law!
What's your name? He covers his face further. I mean, make sure that face is good and covered while he's detaining a U.S. citizen. Meanwhile, you know what's crazy about this whole, you know, about how they, like how does ICE assess who is an illegal immigrant? Like how do they assess and see who should they target? Who can tell me? who can give a wild guess? You know, okay, so you're going after illegals. Okay, well, how do you know who's legal and who's not legal? Like, what's your criteria? Because, okay, they asked for they ask for, or they're supposed to ask for, I should say, ID, some identification. Meanwhile, even that, like if it was a Caucasian man that was asked for ID, that'd be kicking off. It'd be a whole fuss, a whole riot. But you suspect somebody of being illegal and you ask for ID. Now, as an American citizen, you don't have to carry ID with you. Like you're not required to carry ID with you. You're an American citizen. So, if for some reason you seem to fit a description of these devils and you don't have ID on you, how do they identify whether you're illegal or not? Matter of fact, before they do that, how do they look for who to target? They go around targeting anybody who is non-white. You've seen, I think even Somalians are getting targeted. Somalians are getting targeted. Now they mainly are going after Hispanics. You know what I'm saying? They're mainly going after Latinos. But you see right here a young black boy being targeted. I've seen I don't know if I've seen Somalians being targeted, but I've seen some protest or whatever. This, that, and the third. But they're going after anybody who's non-white. So what is it even worth being a US citizen if you're not white? You're still going to get targeted. All of these in this video we're about to watch, these are all US citizens. But ICE doesn't give a damn whether you're legal or illegal. If you're non-white, you're being targeted.
He's a citizen! He's a citizen! That's my brother-in-law!
What's your name? Jonathan Aguilar Garcia. I'm not a U.S. citizen.
We're citizens!
Okay, then show your ID.
Get your ID! What the fuck? We're native. What are you doing? Why'd you hit him? No! Stop!
And even if you go to show your ID, they still attack you. They will still attack you. Because it's not about going after the worst of the worst. Do these people in this video, do they look like the worst of the worst to anybody? Do any of these people look like the worst of the worst? They're going after people that are at school, going after people that are at work, working in stores. They're going after day laborers. They're going after teachers and students. They're going after people just going about their day, shopping, you know what I'm saying, at home. Even people just chilling at home, doing nothing, doing no harm to anybody. And even when they say we're citizens, they say, okay, then we'll show me your ID.
Okay, then show your ID.
Get your ID!
They say, get your ID.
We're native. What are you doing?
She says, we're native. We're native. A native can't be illegal. Like that's not a thing. Like they try and say the Mexicans are illegal, even though they're not. They're also native. But these are natives. These are Native Americans. And you're still being harassed, even if you show your ID.
Why'd you hit him? No!
You're still being hit, punched through the window. I've seen videos that they're breaking windows, dragging people out cars. You about to see it. I'm about to show you.
What are you doing? No! Why? My nephew!
This woman's saying she got kids in her car and they're shooting pepper pellets at the car, which has children in it. Like which people can you treat like this? You can't get away with treating Caucasians like this.
Why'd
She's trying to go to work. No, what?
They are pulling this woman out of her car with you know, masked up with guns and just doing whatever the hell they want. These are all in this video. These are all U.S. citizens.
Crazy shit. Y'all some crazy. Y'all got no heart, for real. No heart. No heart. She's a female.
Get off her right now.
You guys hit her.
It's like they keep pulling up their mic. They have to make sure they're masked up. Like, look, whenever they, you know, gripping people up.
She's a female.
You know, just making sure his mask is on. Making sure he gun, you know, covered. So you can't identify him. If you can't identify him, you can't charge him. It was just an ICE agent. Who was it? Who is it that's harassing all these U.S. citizens? Because you should be able to, you know, file lawsuits. You should be able to press criminal charges. But you can't because they're unidentifiable. And even if you do, who was it? Was it J.D. Vance or somebody in Trump's party which said that basically ICE agents have absolute immunity? I mean, good night. Not even the police have absolute immunity. These guys have more authority and less training than the police. Far less training. You only get, what is it, 46 days? Or 50, it was 50-something days. And I saw somewhere that the reason they get 50-something days, I think it's what, 57? Or whatever. They get 57 days of training because Trump was the 57th president. I mean, when the Bible says that we will be ruled by children, that this is who we're ruled by. This is who's in power. The Bible says children will rule over you. You will be what's the word? Brought to jealousy by a people who are not a people. Like, these people are not civilized. These people are not humane. Like you claim to be a human, but you have no humanity. You'll be brought to jealousy or brought to wrath by a people that are not a people. Look at these devils.
Get off her right now.
You guys hit her. How you guys gonna arrest her?
We're from the United States, bro. You better break the U.S., bro. To school, bro. I was going to school.
Good night. I got one more. I got one more of the not even one more. I got a couple more of these U.S. citizens being attacked. Now this one I find fascinating because somebody said this, and you read from this caption. ICE agents say they get a $30,000 bonus for shooting. Let's get the breakdown.
Hey, wait, that's not how you arrest people.
Get on the ground.
That's not how you arrest people.
Get on the ground. Now, on the ground.
All right, but you're not
on the ground.
All right, hold on. All right. I got rights to talk, bro.
You got no rights here.
I do.
He said, you got no rights here. He says, I do. I'm a U.S. citizen too. I have rights. First Amendment all the way to however many amendments they are. You're supposed to have rights as a U.S. citizen. He said, hey, you ain't got no rights here, brother.
I got rights to talk, bro.
You got no rights here.
I do.
You got no rights here.
You're illegal, brother.
You're an illegal. How did they identify that? Because in actuality, he's not an illegal. He's not illegal here. He does have rights. He should have rights. So how are you identifying the people that have rights and the people who don't have rights and you can just treat like garbage? Even though that's still inhumane and you're breaking some law somewhere. But you are a lawless bunch of people. Just lawless and violent.
Get up. I was born and raised right here. What about her? I was born and raised here.
Okay, all right. You're starting to resist more now.
We're gonna end up shooting someone.
Remember, you can smell that too.
This ICE agent said, you know, they're starting to resist more now. They're starting to resist more now because that's always the thing. Like oppressors, whenever they see us getting harassed and detained and twisted up and beaten half to death, they always say, you know, you should just comply. Just comply and listen to the officer. Well, what happens when you comply and you still get, you know, beat half to unaliving? Still get beaten black and blue. When your arm's still getting twisted up no matter how much you comply. When you're about to show your ID but you still get punched through a window. And you still get hit and dragged out your car. What happens then? You have to resist. At this point, if the person who has whatever authority they have, and you have to comply with their rules, if they don't have to comply by any rules, and they beat the hell up out of you anyway, at that point it's life or the other thing that TikTok don't like me saying. At that point it's fight or flight. And if you fly, they have guns to just gun you down. So what choice do you have? If complying will still get you deported as a U.S. citizen, like they deported U.S. citizen children. That's illegal. You can't deport a U.S. citizen. Like, where were you deporting them to? What choice do you have? Same way you tell a black man, just comply. Just follow the police's instructions. Meanwhile, they all yelling out conflicting instructions, twisting your arm up anyway, just wanting you to resist. So they have probable cause to put a bullet in the back of your skull, to put a knee on the back of your neck, to twist up your arm, to shove a fist down your throat, to do whatever it is they feel like doing. To just treat you like a punching bag. To just practice whatever WWE move they want to try out that day.
Just remember, you can smell that too when it's jumping by the ball.
Yeah.
Remember, you can smell that too.
You're starting to resist more now.
We're gonna end up shooting someone.
Just remember, you can smell that too when it's jumping by the ball.
Yeah.
And they're laughing and joking, talking about a 30,000 bonus if they shoot some of them. I mean, like, what are we talking about right now? Where is the support? Where is the rescue? Where is the military invading the U.S. right now to rescue these Hispanics? You know what's funny? Do you know who should be speaking the most about this? You know who should be the most outraged of these Latinos just being harassed, scooped up in schools, hospitals. You know, you're on the way to an appointment. You could be on the way to a immigration meeting you have scheduled for, you know, a green card appointment. I seen another video. A woman was scooped up at her green card appointment and taken by ICE. At school, coming home from school, coming home from work, at work, wherever. And put in these concentration camps, put in these detention centers, put in places like Alcatraz. Put in places like Alcatraz, where mysteriously some hundreds of Latinos have disappeared off the system. Disappeared off their ICE tracking system, and nobody knows where they are. You can read about it. Matter of fact, let me get this up. Alligator ICE detainees gone missing. You can look this up. Let me read this one. Let me see. Let's read this right here. It says here, hundreds of detainees vanish from Florida's Alligator Alcatraz Immigration Center. Another concentration camp. Just to simplify it for everybody, just so they know what it really is. It says hundreds of people held at America's Alligator Alcatraz Immigration Processing Center west of Miami, Florida, appears to have disappeared from the system, according to immigrant advocacy groups. It says right here. It says ICE online database with families and lawyers. Detainees have vanished from the ICE ICE online database with families and lawyers unable to track them. When searching for people detained there, the ICE locator says call the Florida Department of Corrections for details. We'll move on forward. Let's see this here. Many detainees, including plaintiffs in a recent lawsuit challenging Florida's authority to detain people at the site, were reportedly transferred elsewhere after the case was filed in August. The American Civil Liberties Union described the camp as a black hole where detainees are missing, with families and lawyers left in the dark. It says right here, as of late August, around 800 detainees no longer appeared in ICE's online systems, while a further 450 were listed only with the message call ICE for details. The center has faced legal challenges since its establishment in July. Where are these hundreds of Hispanics disappearing to? Where are they going? Being scooped off of the street, scooped up from work, scooped up from schools, put in prisons, put in places like Alligator Alcatraz. Or your children are put in these concentration camps, these child detention centers, and people are disappearing. Where are they disappearing to? This is all illegal. You put in teachers, laborers, workers, parents in Alligator Alcatraz. That sounds like a place where you would put the worst of the worst. But it ain't the worst of the worst they're picking up. A lot of times it's US citizens they're picking up. And people are being disappeared. You know who should be speaking up about this damn near the most? Aside from, of course, just generally blacks and Hispanics, Native Americans, and the I.S.U.P.K. But aside from that, which heathen should be speaking out against this the most? The Jewish man. The Jewish man should be speaking up against this the most. The Jewish man should be sending his military to save Hispanics. Because this is the type of thing that happened to him. This is what he cries about every day. The Holocaust. He cries about it, and it was such a tragedy and horrific and this, that, and the third. But he's watching as Latinos go through the same thing, if not worse, and he does nothing. He does absolutely nothing. You have some power. You can speak to Trump and say, hey, what you're doing is wrong. What you're doing, it reminds me of a little something that happened to my people in Germany. What you're doing is wrong. You shouldn't be treating people like that. You shouldn't be separating children from their parents and putting them in concentration camps. You shouldn't be disappearing hundreds of people. But the Jewish man says nothing. The Jewish man says absolutely nothing. I have 2 other videos I'm contemplating playing. I'm going to leave those alone. But let me tell you what else is going on in these ICE detention centers. So not only are they separating children, not only are they wrongfully detaining U.S. citizens, not only are they disappearing people. Let me get this one first. It says an ICE officer admitted to raping a woman in custody for months. He did this in exchange for letting her see her daughter. This is what ICE is doing in these, so-called detention centers. This is what ICE is doing up in Alligator Alcatraz. They are sexually assaulting people. More crimes to add to the list. And this ICE officer admitted it. So let's read the story. David Corvell, an ICE officer at a detention center in Louisiana, sexually abused a woman detainee at the center. And he pleaded guilty. It says he's 56, pled guilty to sexually assaulting a Nicaraguan woman over the course of several months at a Louisiana ICE detention facility. Prosecutors said he would bring the victim letters and pictures of her daughter, along with food and other gifts, which is against ICE rules. So just like a slave master would go ahead and sexually assault the slaves, this is what ICE is doing in their detention centers, in their detention facilities, in their prisons, in their concentration camps. David is said to have hired lookouts while he raped the woman in a janitorial closet. Initially, David denied the accusation before confessing during an interview in September. He was released on a $10,000 bond and will be sentenced on April 10th, where his charge carries a maximum of 15 years in prison and a fine of up to $250,000. So this ICE agent, the worst of the worst, this criminal, sexually assaults and abused a Nicaraguan woman. This is what they were dragging that young woman out of the car to do. To put her in some detention facility so they can sexually assault her in a janitorial closet. And what's the sentence? His charge carries a maximum of 15 years in prison. What type of sentence is that? He admitted to sexually assaulted this woman, and who knows how many women and potentially children he assaulted. He's assaulting this woman and exchanging, pictures of her daughter who was separated from her. And that woman wants to make sure her daughter is safe. Her daughter's still alive. And this devil uses that as leverage to sexually assault, to rape her, and hire lookouts to do so. Where are these lookouts? Are they being charged? And why is he only receiving a maximum of 15 years? Let me look this up. What is the sentence? Here we go. What's the sentence for sexual assault in Louisiana? Let me see. So you don't have a single sexual assault statute. Let me see. Let's change this word. Let's just tell it how it is. It says, whoever commits the crime of first-degree rape shall be punished by life imprisonment at hard labor without benefit of parole, probation, or suspension of sentence. And yet, old Johnny boy here, old David Corvell, gets a maximum of 15 years, meaning he could get less. He could absolutely get less time. And a fine of up to $250,000, which is nothing. The ICE is going to pay that. Like, that ain't going to come out of his own pocket. Matter of fact, it even could. He gets a $50,000 bonus. So I guess ICE agents, they have the money. But this rapist is currently released on bond. And they call us the criminals. Let me get this last Instagram story. Breaking news. ICE detention center says it's not responsible for staff sexually abusing detainees. So of course this isn't the only story. That is the only story of ICE agents sexually assaulting detainees. They go around scooping up all these Hispanic women, put them in detention centers, and they have no rules, they have no laws, they have absolute immunity, and they sexually abuse their detainees. And ICE is saying they're not responsible. Well, the ICE detention center says they're not responsible. Well, who is responsible? People are being sexually abused and assaulted. Who is responsible? Who is being held accountable? Who's going to face the charge that they should face? Same thing again. You see this picture right here. This is a picture. These are children. Children. I see a pregnant woman right here. It's not just, grown people that are sexually assaulting. These ICE agents. I mean, anybody could turn around and be an ICE agent. Child predators could be the same ICE agent that is separating your child from you. They're separating these Hispanic children from their parents. But, they're not responsible. Like the Bible says, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. The things they do to us, they unalive us, they abuse us, they beat us, they suffocate us, they sexually assault and rape, and they hold themselves not guilty. And who is doing anything about it? What country is sending in their military to help the Hispanics from these Caucasians, from the oppressor? What war is going to be started to, the same way there was a whole war to free the Jewish man from his Holocaust. Where is the outcry? Where is the protest? Where is the war that's going to start to free the Hispanics from our Holocaust? Where was the outcry and the war that started to free, black people from our Holocaust? And they say they went. The British people love to say they went around freeing the slaves and making slavery illegal. Okay, well, did you free them? Like, did you separate them from their oppressor? Like the same way, if there was a woman who was chained up in a basement, being beaten, made to work hard labor like it's a Chinese sweatshop, made to work hard labor for free, being raped, and you come and so-called free this woman. Do you leave her in the same basement? Do you leave her in the same house? Like the Jewish man was separated from his oppressor. He was taken out of Germany, and they were looking for somewhere to put them, another land to put them in so they could heal and be separate from their oppressor. I think they were looking at Uganda, they were looking at a bunch of places, and they settled on the land of Israel, which is not their land. But that's what they settled on, to put them in the land of Israel so they could be separate from their oppressor and heal. Who fought for black people and the Hispanics that were enslaved as well? Who fought for us, freed us from our oppressor, and put us in our own land, put us in a land where we could be separate and heal from our trauma? Nobody did. Who is going to, advocate for these Hispanics? What military is going to fight and try to free these Hispanics from their Holocaust, from their abuse, from them being sexually assaulted? and unalived. I would say that the Jewish man should be first in line to want to, help what's going on in America. But something tells me he ain't gonna do a damn thing about it. Something tells me he don't care. He doesn't care about this Holocaust we're seeing right in front of our eyes. He didn't care about the Holocaust that black people went through. Matter of fact, he funded it. The Bible says, what is it about the hold on. 1 second, let me get this Bible verse. I want to quote it properly. The synagogue of Satan. Let me see. I want to get this verse. It says, I know thy works and thy tribulation. This is talking about blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. This is talking about the children of Israel. I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. The Bible calls that Jewish man who's claiming our land, who's claiming our history and our heritage, calls him the synagogue of Satan. What else does the Bible say? In Revelations 3 and verse 9, so that was Revelations 2 and verse 9 I just read. Revelations 3 and verse 9 says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan. That's the Jewish man. That's the so-called white man. You look at what he's doing today, what he's done in the past. He is the synagogue of Satan. That's what he is. He says, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. That's what the Most High is going to do for us. That Jewish man who won't lift a finger to help blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who took part in our oppression, who was a major funder and benefactor, who ensured the slave ships, who keeps black people destroyed to this day with all the media he runs, the music industry, all those things they have in high places. The rulers of darkness in high places, as the Bible says. The Most High is going to bring that proud people down. It's going to bring Donald Trump to his knees and have them worshiping at our feet. They're going to receive justice for all the oppression and all the things they did to us, man. The Most High is going to do that for us. What we need to do as a nation is return. Come to the I.S.U.P.K and the Commanding General Yahanna and change your life. Keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. Serve the God that is going to free you from this Egypt. And with that, that is my show. That's my show. Let's start it up. Most High in Christ. I know this was a bit of a heavy topic, but it was definitely needed. And when you see everything that's going on, our people need to have hope. You know what I'm saying? We are going to, this devil is not going to get away with all the wickedness he's doing. He is not going to get away with it. You know what I'm saying? The first step is for all blacks, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, is to turn back to their God. Come out of Christianity, come out of Islam, come out of Rastafarianism and Buddhism and Pan-Africanism and all the isms we in today. Jehovah's Witness, all that BS. And come join the I.S.U.P.K and follow the laws of God. Follow the true laws of God, man, which is going to fix our community, which is going to have the Most High on our side so that this devil cannot do the things that he would. But with that, I hope everybody enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? I'm Priest and Officer Raawban out of I.S.U.P.K, United Kingdom. With that, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatham to any brothers that may be watching. Yahweh Shema Ilathan Bahashem Yahweh Shai to any sisters that may be watching. Shalom, Israel.
The way I walk like a cult leader, how I talk like a cult leader, how I move like a cult leader, everything off the meter, one West undefeated, how I walk like a cult leader, how I talk like a cult leader, how I move like a cult leader, everything off the meter, one West undefeated, got it all playing, riding for my dogs, man, cram a couple niggas with blickies up in the small van.